I think is really, really good is we know a lot of people in our building. So it's kind of nice, like, oh, I go down the hallway and like I know everybody on my floor really, really well. And I think that's kind of cool. Like ours is like the good floor to be on. And Grace comes up to our floor all the time, which is like awesome. But that's kind of nice. But like I wish I knew more people in my major because I think that's better to have like those connections too. So that kind of sucks. So like I'm making better connections with some people, but not so good connections with others. So that's like okay. Another thing is like it's weird going to like with COVID because like you used to do a lot more stuff because my sister was a freshman here a couple years ago, and she did a lot of stuff with her floor and like her building itself. Like they went out and like did like games out in the fields and stuff like that. But we never got those opportunities because they wanted us to like not be around everybody.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks, but I
So
don't know.
where have you made like the majority of your friends? Has it been from the building you live in or like classes or like a combination of both?
It's been mainly building because like I only have two classes in person, and those classes are every 2 weeks. So kind of like it's just my lab. So it's kind of like, oh, I don't get to see you guys that often.
Yeah. How do you feel like, do you feel like your college experience is compromised? Like you really have nothing to compare it to, given the fact that you were in high school last year and things got shut down. But like what were you thinking college was gonna look like coming into it? But obviously like probably your plans changed with like COVID. It's not what it should
Yeah.
be.
So I was kind of like hoping to do more like clubs or like the fairs that they used to have because I knew when my sister was a freshman there was like a bunch of different things always going on, and then like it was in person and then you got to meet so many more people. But like here you're on Zoom and then like it's just different on Zoom or like it's different on WebEx. It's
Yeah.
just not the same.
Do you feel that so okay, so you said two of your classes are in person, right?
Yes.
But it's just the lab, so you meet like every other week?
Yep.
Okay.
Which is kind of is boring because I'm like, oh, like I really want to talk to you guys because like you guys are in my major, you guys have like similar interests as me,
Yeah,
and then it's just like, oh, okay, well, nice seeing you for a couple hours, bye.
right. So I mean, what do you feel, how do you feel it's gone operating on Zoom and doing classes that way? Like,
It
you
can
like
be
it?
very,
Do you
it can
hate
be very, yeah, a little bit.
it?
It can be very, very messy because it's like it leaves a lot of room for miscommunication.
Mhm.
Because I feel like once you're in person, you communicate just so much better, and then like you can always go up and be like, "Hey, this is my question for you," and like they're always like, "Yeah, you can like ask me after class, like if you want," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, but half the time it's like you don't understand what I'm asking," and
Mhm.
then I feel bad because I'm like, "Oh, can you re-explain that to me in this way instead?"
Yeah.
So it's just different.
Well, wait. Okay, if you're a freshman, chances are like, do you have you'd have lecture halls for like big ass classes. Like, how do they fit all
Mhm.
those students into Zoom? Do they do like blocks where it's like, you know,
So
20 students in this group, 20 students in that group, or do you not know?
it's kind of like different for me because most of mine are like pre-recorded lectures that they just have videos for.
Uh,
Besides like maybe one of my classes in like last semester, I didn't have any this semester. But my roommate, on the other hand, all her videos are like Zoom meetings
mhm.
instead. So it's kind of weird. So like for me, I would have to go to a different office hours. So if I wanted to actually talk to a professor or a TA.
Right. Yeah, I just feel like Zoom is so distracting. It's a little bit different because I go to Simpson here in Indianola. I don't know if you've ever heard of that college, but it's like a small private college. Yeah, I mean, like most of our classes are in person, but sometimes we do classes on Zoom. But I think the worst part is it's just so distracting. Like you could easily not be paying attention to the class
Yes.
material and like do something else, like go browse social media or whatever.
Yes.
Um, so have you experienced any negativity like with your mental health this year?
I
That's
feel like
a common theme like with people that never experienced anything with mental health before.
yeah, like I could definitely see it because like you have like that letdown. Like it's like a disappointment factor where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for college. This is like a huge stepping stone, and then you're like, well, that's not how I wanted it to go, or like you don't get that like social interaction that like you would have got.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's like going from a high school you knew everybody. Like my high school, I graduated like 120 people. I knew everybody in my high school like by name, and like I could tell you like their parents' names and their favorite dog and like all that kind of stuff. And it's just kind of like, oh, this is like I wanted to get to know more people.
Yeah.
And like also like you get so much more of a workload when you're online, because I don't think the teachers realize like how much they actually are giving you when
Mm-hmm.
they're not in person, and like how quickly they go through things.
Yeah. Well, and
So I think
did you guys have your schedule get altered for spring? Because we did at Simpson. We don't even have a spring break, and we started January 20th. So like you're cramming a semester load of material into like 3 months.
yep, that's how exactly how it is for us too. Because we started like the same kind of time, like the 20, like 30ish, 20ish,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't get a spring break, so we have 14 weeks where we have to do everything. But it's just like odd how they like lay it out too. Because like some classes will be like on 2 week increments where you'll like do things and have like lecture videos for like that 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then other classes are just like you have a weekly basis and you have to keep up with that.
Hmm. Do you feel that you've gotten very close with the people that you hang out with, like in your building, like say Grace or I don't know, kids you've met in classes? Do you feel close to those people?
I definitely do, because like right, like I always like hang out with them, or we have like a big group chat where we're like, oh, we're gonna go get supper here, and then we have like 10 or 15 people go get supper together, because like we're like, oh, there's nothing else to do, why don't we just go get supper together and like talk about our days and stuff like that, which is kind of nice.
I was gonna say, like, what do you guys do since big crowds of people, or even like a group of 10 people, is not really prohibited at this point? Like, what do you guys do as a group?
So like there's like one dining hall that actually has like a big enough table for us. And then in retrospect, like another time, like we'll just like split up our tables, or like we'll go like booth and like be right next to each other. It
Yeah.
just kind of depends on like where we end up going to eat, or like or where we're hanging out with. Like it's kind of weird because I was always told like to have like an open door policy when you're in college, but for us, like you can have 4 people in your room max. So it's kind of like, oh, we're just gonna shut the door so we don't get in trouble, which kind
Yeah.
of sounds bad, but
Do they patrol heavily at Iowa State? Because like in the fall, there were articles and stuff that came out about Iowa State, like people partying and whatnot, and you guys got a lot of flack for, you know, like disregarding what they say to do during COVID. So
so like during the day they patrol a lot more because there's more CAs, there's more like managers and like stuff in the building or like just around. But like once you step outside, they can't do anything.
hmm,
So I kind of, or like in like the large amount like we saw in fall semester, like you couldn't do anything about 120 students in a hallway,
mhm.
because that's what one of the big one was like there was 120 students and they're all walking to one dorm to another dorm, but like how are you supposed to know who all those students are?
Yeah. That's kind of the disadvantage of being at a big college, is like, you know, there's so many students that go to Iowa State, so how could you really like expect to control that? Whereas Simpson, I don't know how many students we have, but it's nothing close to that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy for them to know, like they have us in seating charts, so they know like where we sit in all of our classes
Mm-hmm.
in case somebody gets COVID, and then they're like, oh, hey, you sat next to this person, so you might want to be cautious.
Yeah, that's kind of like exactly what my like friend from Simpson, she's like, yeah, it's we could barely go onto another floor without being asked why we were on that floor,
Yeah.
type of thing. And it's kind of like, oh, that kind of really sucks, because like we go from floor to floor and we're like, oh, okay, just wear a mask there and then back.
Kind of scary because people have to be on edge, you know, and are essentially walking on eggshells because you don't want to get caught, you don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, because
But
like
like at
for
the
me,
same time, kids our age want to live. We want to, you know, we want to experience
yeah,
college life.
that's exactly, because I'm like, I want to just like go out and do stuff like I saw the stuff my sister did. Like, I want to go out and do that. Like, I
Yeah.
want to go and play like human bowling out in the like the field. Like, that sounds fun to me.
Yeah, especially
But
you've been cooped up like all winter and it's been like negative 20 degrees for the last week.
true. And it's like, oh, I'm just ready to soak up some sun, just get out.
Yeah. What's your schedule like? Like what do you do in a given day? Like do you have like a specific routine or do you allow yourself to be pretty flexible when it comes to schoolwork and everything else that you have to do?
It all really depends on the week, I should say. So like today, my main goal was just to do chemistry all day. So like my goal is to finish all my chemistry that I have for like the week in one day.
Doesn't that give
So
you
that kind of sounds weird, but like I have like so like on yesterday I worked on sociology and like I worked on it until I had to go to work. And then today I'm working on chemistry. I have to work tomorrow, so I'm gonna do like a psych lecture or two. And then I'm gonna work on biology all day on Thursday.
Jeez. When you
So
say
like I wake up,
there's that much work to do it all day?
yes.
Like it's not like a 2 hour thing and you're done. It's all day.
No, like, I've been working on it since I've been working on this since like 9 a.m.
Doesn't that make your head ache?
Yes, it does, but it's easier than going back and forth between them all, though, because like my chemistry and my biology are kind of like correlating kind of right now. So if I spend too much time on like one and then I go back to the other one, it just like messes me up.
Yeah, I can see that. What on top of like the friendships that you've developed, what has your dating life been like? Non-existent, or are there options? You
Okay,
got the
so
mask on?
yeah. So I've had a boyfriend since like I met and like around like at the beginning of quarantine. So it was kind of weird because we met. He's like one of our hometown friends' roommate. Like they met at like a like boys' state, which is just like a government thing. It's weird. So they met there, and then we were gonna go to prom. Prom got canceled, and we just started hanging out. So now he was like one of my good guy friends from like hometown. So it's kind of weird because like a lot of people like don't really meet people here, or it's like the basic like Tinder, but they actually never end up meeting up or like hanging out or going on dates because like it's just kind of, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's more just like it's like weird to describe it because like if like you already had something, it's like kind of easier to keep it because like there's not really much else going on.
Yeah.
But like it's harder finding people.
Wait, so but you are in a relationship. You're dating a guy
Yes.
from your
Yes.
hometown?
Okay, not from my home. Okay, it's weird. He's from
Update story.
he's from like Gowie. He's like 45 minutes away from us, but
Okay.
he's roommates with somebody like a guy friend from my hometown, like a good guy friend.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Wait,
It sounds
okay.
weird.
Wait, so did you meet him at Iowa State or did you meet him?
No, I met him at the beginning of quarantine.
Oh, wow.
So it's like weird because like we were gonna go to prom and then I used to work at a nursing home, so I like was in quarantine for like a month and I didn't leave my house at all because I was like super nervous and like if anything would have happened I would have been like heartbroken.
Yeah.
So we were gonna go to prom. There was ended up being no prom for like him or like us. So then we just hung out after. So like after that month, and we just kind of like Snapchatted and FaceTimed and talked all of quarantine. And then we ended up dating after we started hanging out in person again.
Okay. Yeah,
So it's like a weird like web of things, but
you kind of got lucky though, meeting a guy like right as quarantine started, like you said with the whole Tinder thing. I don't know how people feel like if they actually want to meet up and go on these dates. And Tinder, I don't feel like Tinder's really the place to meet uh
no,
like a forever person if that's what you're looking
no.
for, because it seems like most people are looking for hookups off of Tinder.
Yeah, that's kind of because like I go off like based off of, like my friends say too, because a lot of them like are on Tinder and they're like, oh hey, what's up, just kind of for fun, like for funsies.
That makes me mad though, because then people aren't serious. They're not taking it seriously.
Yeah,
Like, So wait, did you never use Tinder at all?
No,
You're just
nope.
like Grace. Grace is the same way. I was like, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like
So
most
it's just kind
people
of weird.
tried it out, you know?
Yeah, I like that. I like that vibe better because I like meeting people in person and like knowing how like they actually are.
Yeah.
Because like you can be completely different over like text or Snapchat.
Yeah, exactly. You don't really get to know somebody in that form. Um, so then does he come up and visit? What do you guys do? Like, can he come up in your dorm? Is he allowed
Yeah.
to?
So he lives in the same building as us, which is kind of really nice. But like you're allowed like 4 people in your room. So like he can come up whenever or like I could go down there whenever I want. It's just kind of like, oh, whatever. It's just easy peasy.
Yeah.
And a lot of times like there's not a CA like watching you like Hawk's view kind of thing.
Mhm.
It's just kind of more lenient.
What's your job now? You said you worked at a nursing home before.
hmm
What do you?
So I work at BioLife, which is like a plasma, like they retain your plasma and they use it for like medicine. So I work there now.
Okay. Um, so is there anything that you wish would be different in this COVID year, or are you pretty content with how fall semester went and how spring semester has started? Are you optimistic for the future? Are you tired of this? Where are you at?
I'm very tired of COVID. I'm like exhausted from it. I just like want to go out and like do things. I don't want to have to wear a mask. Cause then like I like seeing, I'm a person, I like a smiley person. I love seeing people's smiles. I like smiling myself. And I just wish that like we could just go out and it would be normal. Like it
Yeah,
would feel like how I expected college should be.
yeah. I mean, they've actually done studies on humans and how like our hormones are affected, like, and then also anxiety and depression by just seeing people smile
hmm
and like physical touch, like handshakes, like hugs, like that. So the fact that we don't have that, that's a critical element to like just making humans happy. It's like all those little
Yeah.
things that you're missing now.
Cause I definitely know like when I see like somebody smile at me, it like just boosts my mood for the day. Like it just
Yeah.
makes me feel like and it's like a reassuring feeling because I get very anxious. Like I'm an anxious person.
Mhm.
So like when I know somebody's like smiling at me and I know that like they're happy, it makes me feel better.
Yeah. But
So
see, now
that makes
it's
it.
weird because like I mean, you can tell if they're smiling, like if they squint their eyes, but like when I make eye contact with people, my first initial thought is not really to smile. Whereas before, like if there wasn't a mask, I feel like that would
Mhm.
be like my initial reaction. But I'm like, okay, well, they look kind of stone cold right now because you can't see
Yeah.
their lips, you can't see their smile.
Because who knows? Maybe they're doing like a little smirk and not
Yeah.
like
So
not like a big old like cheese, but
yeah,
it's just like
yeah.
like I don't know. I know exactly what I like smiles. That's just
Do you think that you've gotten more anxious during COVID for
uh
various reasons?
definitely I think so because like it's just so much it's so much change going on at one point in time. And then like especially when I worked at a nursing home, I was just so nervous all the time that I was gonna get COVID and I was gonna give it to him. Like I was like, because it wasn't so much the fact like if I got COVID, like I would have been like fine, and I know I would have been fine. But when I knew when like my residents and like they're basically like my family, like I love them so much, and I knew if I got COVID, it would probably be really detrimental to their life and like their quality of life and like they could even like die from it and it just bothered me so much.
Yeah.
So like it was like more the fact like I didn't want to do anything wrong or I didn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah. Were you a CNA at this nursing home?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I work at COC here in Indianola, which is you're not like I'm almost a CNA, but you're not classified as a CNA. So we help people that have like mental disabilities and physical disabilities.
Mhm.
And so it was kind of that same principle when COVID started because they all have like compromised immune systems. They're all like more susceptible to pathogens,
Mhm.
stuff like that. And so Yeah, in the beginning I was terrified, but like they all got vaccinated here recently. But yeah, it's just about like managing your contact with like other people. Because like you said, like I'm not really scared of this thing being 24 and pretty healthy that I don't think it really do anything for me,
Hmm.
but it's just about giving it to other people.
Yeah, that's like how I feel because like yeah, like I get sick and like I can get really sick, but I know like I will get past it.
Yeah.
Like I'm a pretty healthy person. I'm pretty active. I'm not worried about it for myself. Like I've never have been worried about it.
Yeah.
And it's just like what it could do to other people.
So would you get the vaccine then?
I I'm very like on edge because it just makes me nervous how rushed it was.
Mhm.
Like I think a vaccine, like if it was better, like it sounds weird, but if it was like better tested and it was like a slower process, which is kind of bad because we were all like, we need this vaccine like as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But it just makes me like more nervous that like it was rushed.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people that I've talked to that have gotten the vaccine, the first round wasn't too bad, but then that second
The
round is,
second one just kicked their butt.
yeah, no, all the people that so they're called people supported. That's who I work for. Those 8 people in that one house, they all got the
Mhm.
vaccine. So like a few weeks ago, they got the second round and they were all wiped out from it and like
Mhm.
completely out of character for a lot of them. Because a lot of them are really energetic when you get there, and are constantly like trying to get your attention. But some of them were nearly passing out when I was working. It's kind of scary, because again, we don't really know what not even the short-term side effects are. Like they got sick from the thing, from getting the second round. What
Mhm.
are the long-term effects? Is this actually going to do more harm to their health when they're trying to get protected from COVID by getting this thing?
Because like that's what I'm wondering about like what it could do to your immune system in the long run, just because like it is so soon.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I'm more worried about. I was like, oh yeah, like right now I know like in the next 2 months after I get the vaccine, I'll be perfectly fine. But
Yeah.
like, what could that vaccine do to me, and like how could it affect me in the future is what I'm concerned about. Because like if I don't need to get the vaccine right now, like there's no point in getting the vaccine. I
Yeah.
don't know. It sounds like weird, but
Well, now since you're not working at that nursing home, you probably aren't in that batch of people that should or get like first access to it, right?
mhm. Yeah, because like when I was leaving, they were like had the vaccine sign up as I was like about ready to leave.
And you're
So
like,
like they were already preparing to get vaccinated and seeing who would be vaccinated. And the sheet, like the whole entire paper is full. So it's just like if I did work at a nursing home still, I would get the vaccine just because like that would be important to where I work.
mm-hmm.
And it's not like it's not going to be important to where I work in the future just because it's like contact and spreading. It's just how important it is.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you give people a choice, that's my thing. It's like you should
Mm-hmm.
never force people to take something, especially if it could potentially cause problems down the line. So, but and so with my job, I thought they were going to make us take it, but they gave us a decision, and I was like, all right, that's cool. Like I can respect that. Like whoever wants to get it, totally fine. But me personally, I'm not going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's bad saying that. That would probably piss off a lot of people, but.
No, I'm the same way though. Yeah, of course.
All right, Claire, take care. Have a good day. Have a good semester.
You too.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye bye.